This is Steve Bear. I'll start off just as a little background. Late last year, one of our pharmaceutical clients engaged us. They had an upcoming Salesforce meeting to basically introduce their Salesforce to a new drug and really get them up to speed on the product launch. Eric, if you want to keep going. So the setup was they had one moderator for this event, and they had 600 reps. The reps were across 13 different conference rooms, and each conference room had tables of 10, and this is over the course of 2 days. So you have one moderator and certainly a large audience. Try to figure out how do you engage them actively. So what they asked us to do was to make sure that that one presenter could do something in a quick, easy format, and if they could have some almost at the palm of their hands to broadcast out to all 13 rooms quickly and easily. So what we put together was a solution that allowed them not only to do their traditional training with slides and videos and even some image galleries, but to make it a much more active experience with games and activities and polls and competitions, and ultimately rewards real time in the course of the meeting. Let's go and keep going. So we call this our multimedia digital remote, and the instructor could literally hold it in their hands, and with the swipe of a finger, they could push any content they wanted to any or all tables. They could decide where they wanted to go and keep people engaged on an ongoing basis. Eric's going to walk you through the platform right now.
Hi, everyone. So the way I have my screen set up here is to kind of help illustrate the scenario for how the instruction moderator and host was managing all the content for the different participants across the day. On the left side here, we have what was considered their remote, where we had all the content that was preloaded for them, as Stephen had mentioned, between their games, leaderboards, and then also workshop activities that they would want to push out during the course of the day. The challenge that we had that Stephen kind of mentioned was that as this was a new product launch for a new drug, we had to deal with not only a short timeline, but also FDA approvals leading right up to the beginning of the product launch. So the nice part of having this digital remote and this digital content delivery system was that if they receive changes to some of their workshop activities, we can make those changes instantly on the fly for them and get them pushed up and not have to worry about them printing out new materials for the course of their event. On the right, we have on the larger screen is a sample of what was shown on the screens when all the reps walked into the room. So as they walked in, you had a series of screens on all the different tables that started out with their theme graphic. During the course of the day, on the remote, the host and the moderator can actually decide at what point in time they want to push out the content or a particular activity. What they would do is simply click on what activity, in this case, Workshop 1, hit Start, and then through the server, we would actually push out all this content to all the screens across the 13 rooms, multiple floors at the exact same time. The content was a combination of interactive PDFs, standard visuals that they can use. You could also use video for this, but because this is a conference setting, they didn't want to do video because the audio crash of all the screens at the exact same time would cause a problem. So all video was kind of pushed out through the main broadcast. And the nice part is when they wanted to get everyone back into focus, all they had to do was hit stop. It would bring them back to the theme graphic, and they didn't have to worry about are people paying attention to the main presentation, or are they continuing on with the activities. During the course of the day, they would also challenge them with certain games that we had set up that tested them on the content that they were learning throughout the workshops. Same system, choose the game they wanted to play, hit start, and then they can engage with the content on the touchscreens as teams. So as they were playing, they would continue on certain questions they got right, they got bonus points, or they lost the opportunities. I'm doing a horrible time at this game, probably because of the nerves. It's always all of the above. So as they were going, they would continue on, and they would compete with each other. When the games were over, we had about 5 minutes for each of the games for the teams to play. They would hit stop. It brings them back in. The nice part was we also had a global leaderboard that would show how are the different rooms competing in their tables, competing against each other. So you would have In this case, Coronado Table 5 is in the lead for this particular game. In the individual rooms, they were also able to see how they were doing against their peers in their room. And the way the rooms were set up was we had them in different regions. So you had in one particular room, Table 5 is in the lead for this example. So they're seeing exactly how they're competing against their regional partners. And the other nice part is that during the course of the day, we had some analytics that were built into the different games. So for the instructional designers that were there in the leadership, they were to say, how are the teams doing? How are the people doing with the reception of the content? Are they retaining it? Are they having challenges? And then also, they're able to then go in and see what content needs to be refreshed or gone over more and more. So by doing this, with these analytics, you can actually see how they're doing on what attempt they were taking. Do they need to go over it more than once? And as such. And again, at the end of the day, bring it back to the theme graphic, keep everyone engaged. One of the challenges we had with this was also dealing with large venues is the issue of the internet. Excuse me. So one of the things we did was we brought in a localized server to push all the content out, so we weren't having to worry about external internet and connecting out to the cloud. So this was more of a controlled environment that was relying on the network of the hotel itself, and we tied into that. With that, Stephen, I'll have you close.
Well, just thanks very much for letting us present this. Ultimately, this was a much more interactive meeting, super easy to use, very turnkey to build, and we've seen our clients use it now over and over again.